You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready? Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
All right, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. I've said that one already. Good day, goodbye. Hello, how are you? Welcome along. This is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Welcome along to Leicester fans everywhere. And also, if there's one or two Man United fans that aren't too happy to see at the moment, that want to come and watch how a good team plays and feel what it's like to win a game again, this is the team for you. Who's number one, Craig?
Well, it's us, mate, isn't it? And let's hope it stays that way to the end of the season. If we just keep winning, then we don't have any of those sort of squeaky bum times, and we can just relax into the summer.
We can indeed, and we could afford to lose one or two and still be number one, couldn't we?
Exactly. Yeah. No, we could, but let's not get into a habit.
No. But look, we've been miserable for like a season and a half. It's nice to actually be happy and have something to celebrate, isn't it?
It is, and obviously because we're Leicester fans, we're always looking for the next defeat.
Yes.
That's the bit now. We allow ourselves to enjoy this a little bit, and then now we're moving into doom and gloom. The next game is going to be the one, and
but we have said that for quite a few games this season.
Every game, every next game has been the tough one.
It has. Every test that's been thrown at us, we've passed with flying. Well, not necessarily with flying colours, let's be honest, but we've passed. So, hello to Highfields. How are you? You're in Chelmsford. Nice to see you, Highfields. Reese is in. Good evening, Reese. How are you? Steve is also in. As is Scott. Welcome along, Scott. How are you? I'm hoping for once me and Craig can agree on the team to play Leeds. I may have to give up. Look, we've given up on that one, Scott. We don't pick the team anymore because we've just no idea what it's going to be.
I think me and Scott are going to agree on the team to play Leeds. It's going to be Leicester.
Good thinking. Good thinking.
Go.
What I don't want to agree with you on is the score prediction. I think it's 2 points ahead of you.
Are you?
Yes.
I never know where to see the table, so I can't seem to find it. So I'll take your word for it. If you're 2 points ahead, Chris, then I must have been having a bad few weeks.
I think I've been pretty much there all season, to be honest with you. Right. But then again, Doug is top, and he's been top again all season, really. But I will try and I'll try and find the table before the end of the show. LDH, hello. And please can everyone, yes, indeed, Scott, thank you so very, very much. But we are here for one thing and one thing only, and that is the Leeds game. And so let me bring our guest in this evening, who is sat there patiently. Well, if first is the position to be in, second isn't too bad, third, I mean, it's a tin medal, isn't it? Carl, good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
I'm good, thank you. I don't think we'll get bronze to finish in third if we at the end of the season. So listen, I'd rather take second, where it's kind of like silver. You get like a little trophy if we get promoted. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But no, I am good. Thank you very much. Thank you for back to run. It has been a while. It has been a while since I've seen you for it, Chris. So yeah,
Craig, I'm thinking. It's like starting a new school, isn't it? And then across the playground, you see one of your old friends from the previous school.
It does feel like that, especially how both our teams went down the end of last season. We'll get our revenge at Everton at some point, so don't worry about that. We got history. We've got to settle with Everton at some point. But as I said, it's good to see two of our teams have been starting so well. Where for us, it was a little bit difficult to start, but we've caught up.
We don't talk about last season.
The Premier League? That's so last season. It's all about the Championship here on LTID TV.
Now that's what I call football.
You hit the right spot.
Yeah, that's true. I give you that one, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. One thing we're not missing, and I'll come to you with the same question, Carl. First of all, I should say, Carl, your details are in the chat below. It's very remiss of me, and I do apologise. Do tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, thanks, because you can find me at the Total Leave It at Home Football Podcast. I am on this Saturday to do the Saturday show. As I said, my sidekick Doug is still on paternity leave. Paternity leave. He actually did go to his first football game last night. I get to Lewiston and watch Hearts, my team, who did beat 1-0. So many chances. But yeah, Doug is off. I will see his son next week. Myself and my partner Helen, who's next.
Oh, you've gone. Your sound's gone.
To me, doing her PhD work. She's got 3 weeks left. Oh, sorry. I'm getting used to the new system, new computer. So as I said, I'm seeing Doug next week. So I'll have some time to catch up with him.
Well, do give him our best. Craig, I mean, paternity leave, what's that? It's for pussies, isn't it? We never used to have paternity. I had 4 kids, never had a day off. Well, all right, maybe an odd day here.
No, and it's not like we didn't contribute, is it?
No. We put our couple of minutes worth in, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Craig, I mean, look, we're joking. Premier League last season, or a season to forget. But this season, I mean, I've literally watched 2 games, Premier League games this season, and I'm thinking I haven't missed it at all. No. What I haven't missed. We said about VAR, and give the refs the due. They are, yes, they've made mistakes. Yes, we've had some bad refs, but I'd sooner had a bad ref or a ref that's going to make mistakes without VAR than ones that have VAR and still make mistakes and cock it up. Isn't it nice when you watch a game on Sky, BT, whatever, that they actually talk about your team?
I know. I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the one of your main sponsors, Chris, but I'm not sure Talk Sport know that there is life further down the pyramid. They really annoyed me this week, to be honest, because I got in the car and they were talking about the League Cup and saying that they were talking about it, the semi-finals going to 1 leg instead of the traditional 2 legs. So how they're going to work out who gets the home tie, I'm not sure. But the main point was that they were banging on saying, we must stop these players having to play too many games. And I'm just thinking, shut up, basically, was the polite way of what I was shouting at the thing. I'm just fed up of hearing it. Too many games. We've got too many games. You got big squads. I bet you wouldn't complain. You'll start to complain if the manager rotates you a bit too much. So, shut up. There's a football league below the Premier League. Just give them some thought now and again. It doesn't come into their thought. The League Cup is for the league. There's a clue in the name. They put it in there just as a clue. But pandering to the Premier League even over the League Cup just annoys me. And
I don't necessarily think it's pandering to the Premier League. I think it's pandering to the big 6-7, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's just everything. Everything seems to be for those clubs. Let's change football purely for those clubs.
Do you remember when that used to be you, Carl? Sorry, that was.
Hey, listen.
Are you missing it though? Are you missing the Premier League?
Better yes and no, but more no at the moment. I think if we were happy, I would have said yes if we had a better plan. I think no because we needed to come away for a bit. I needed to.
Your sound's gone. Your sound keeps going
in order because I. Sorry, can you hear me now?
We heard you send for a second. Yes.
It's my new computer. I'm getting used to it, so I apologize for that. Hang on.
Okay. Who was that comedian that used to do those things, Craig? Where his microphone used to break up.
I think it would. It used to do it.
Yeah, that's
quite.
Yes.
Yeah.
No idea what you said, but that was what he used to do. Let's hope Leeds are as stuttering as this tomorrow night.
I heard that. So.
Oh, did you? Sorry, you're back. But are you missing? Are you missing the Premier League, Carl?
Not really. No. I think we needed a fresh start, to be quite honest with you. So I'm not missing the Premier League as much as I thought I was going to be.
No. And I think, it's nice to be winning again, isn't it?
It is.
No, you've gone again.
It is nice to be winning again with 23 teams.
Whatever button you're pressing, keep your finger on it. As the actress said to the Archbishop.
Right. I hope you can hear me now because...
We can, but you do. We hear you very clearly, don't we? Is it me, just me, Craig? Or are you having the same problems?
No, I'm having the same problems. I thought it was you, Chris, that you don't like people speaking for more than 30 seconds before you get a word in.
This is very true. And you know me, what's this 30-second shit? I usually about 10 seconds. But look, if you see you confuse me now, what's your name? Craig. Let's talk about this guy, Carl. Or let's try and talk about this guy.
Yeah, try is more better.
Yeah. How pleased I mean, he's got the experience. He's got a team a couple of times out the Premier League. Pleased with him? Is he going to be long term? If he does get you up, is he going to bring you straight back down again?
It's going to be long term, yes. Long term is more better than short term. We've had so many short termers and managers, and it just never worked out for us. I think he knows the championship, he knows the league, and I think he's the way he's like Bielsa, but Bielsa more with the loving side than the bit of the aggressive craziness.
He's saying Bielsa was crazy? Never. Were you surprised, Craig, at that appointment?
I was a little bit. I did get the feeling that he was the best of what was available by the time that you decided that you needed a new manager. It did seem to go on for a while, and then he was talked about early on, and he's got the experience, so he was probably linked with every team who'd come down, or those teams that were looking for a new manager. And then you seem to be linked with, I guess, more exciting or exotic appointments. And then in the end, it was almost like we're running out of time. We better appoint someone. Oh, let's go for Daniel Farke.
I'm doing my caps lock has stopped working just to make things harder for me. You look at Leicester though, Carl, and were you surprised at our appointment of Marquesa?
I was very surprised. Yes, I thought he would have been. I thought you would have got someone like Daniel Farker to account on this year. I think we were linked with more Vieira and someone I thought Farker would have been a better fit at Leicester. But getting someone like Pep's former assistant coach has paid dividends to you guys. So it's been really good for you guys. You've won nearly all games. You lost one game. You're just killing the league at the moment.
We are. I mean, and do you hold sort of? Are you coming to us tomorrow? Are you holding fear in that?
No. I would say on paper, two evenly matched teams. So it's going to be interesting who wins that battle.
Yes, it will be. I don't know what's happened with my keyboard here. If you're asking questions, by the way, in the chat, there will be a save till the end, and then we will come back to them. If we can manage to get it out of you, Carl, talk us through your season. What happened at the start of the season? Because it was an awful start for you.
We didn't know which players were coming and going. We didn't know what was happening at the club. At the time, we were still owned by Radizzani, until the last 2 weeks. It's been changed. So we didn't know who was coming or going. So it was a tough start because we didn't know who was coming out, leaving the club. There was new names every single day. There was players disgruntled who wanted to leave, but then decided to stay.
You've gone again.
But we stabilized ourselves. So that's been the most vital thing. We stabilized ourselves, which we needed to do.
Yeah, indeed. And looking at that, Craig, would you sooner have played Leeds at the start of the season, or it's a big battle, first versus third, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess you would have done. But it makes it for a more exciting game. It does take us back to those sort of League One, battling out at the top games. So I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. We know that Leeds always travel. They're in numbers and they're noisy. The consistency that Leeds have brought now. What I would like, I guess, I would like one piece of consistency for you to stick with, and that's if you get a penalty, can Bamford take it, please?
Carl, do you want to come back on that one?
What?
I'm not muting him. I'm not muting him on these replies.
I know you're not, but listen, okay, my mic's a little bit working now. I know Bamford can be a bit of a donkey, yes. I'd rather not him not take a penalty. So let's just leave at that.
Pero, to be honest with you, that was a player that I wanted to sign. Not me personally, but, for Leicester. How is he doing? Is this somebody we should be afraid of?
I would say no. I think you need to be afraid of Rutter and Somerville because Rutter has been come to his best after the bit of the poor last season in what, which I'm not going to name. So, but he's come a lot more better. And I think that's the biggest thing we need to see. Pero was the number 9 that we needed because we had no good strikers. So, and he's come at the right time for us, which we're glad that he has done. So, no, I think it's Rutter and Somerville who's now being the key.
A question here, it says, is Somerville stuck on the left wing or will we be given a free pass to Rome?
I think he'll be given more a free pass to Rome because of him and Dan James and Jadon Anthony can rotate quite well. So I think that there is a lot of free roam he can do. So I think that's not going to be the issue with that one.
No. Craig, Pero, do you think? Well, do you wish we would have signed him? I mean, we've got the amazing Tom Cannon, from Everton reserves. Sorry, I should say. Let me give him his full name. The amazing Tom Injured Cannon from Everton reserves. That's not seen a bit of grass yet. Was that the right signing, or do you wish we'd gone for a player like Pero?
I think, I think most fans quite fancied Pero. To be honest, he was proven at this level. you know, scoring goals at Swansea over the last couple of seasons. I think he would have been a safe pair of hands. There must have been something. Now, whether we weren't prepared to pay as much as Leeds, whether he thought that he might have to fight for his place a little bit more at Leicester. If you're coming into a team where you've got Jamie Vardy, you've got Ian Acho, is he walking straight in and starting? Whereas I think at Leeds, he probably had more of a guarantee to be starting games. So that may have been part of the reason that he went there. But I think they've got players that can really cause us problem. He's just one of them. Yeah, Somerville, the Rutter, as you said, you know, Nonto when he's on it. The one that's been surprising, his name's gone out of my head, but the young kid that you had last season, who was over the past couple of seasons, who was coming off the bench and nicking a goal here and there, we haven't seen him at all this
Geldart, Geldart's been he's been more of a bench player at the moment. We thought he was going to go at the end of the summer, but I think because Sam Greenwood left to go to Middlesbrough, that's what made he stay in the squad, because we needed the depth. But I think we might revisit that course again in January to see,
because he looked like he was going to be. He looked like he was going to be a really good player. He looks like he's just out of favour at the minute, I guess. But Somerville and you've got pace. It was interesting. I don't know if you saw this, Chris Maresca's comments at the press conference today, talking about the fact that for anybody who doesn't like us getting the ball forward quickly, I think they're going to get frustrated tomorrow, because he was saying that we need to build it very slow. We need to be very, very patient, because if we try and build quickly, there's more chance of us turning it over, and they are really quick on the break with Dan James and Somerville, so it could play into their hands. So I think it's going to be a bit of a war of attrition tomorrow.
Thank God I banned Boris from the group then, because he's been saying we've been boring all season. Wow. I've got to say, Carl, that seventh there, that's obviously just your form table. That's just the form position based on the last 6 games. Had you got it right from the start, you would have been up there with us. Points wise, I mean.
Yeah, 100%. I would 100% agree with it. I just think, I don't know what happened. I think the ownership issue just affected our transfer business at the early stage. That was the issue we had. And I think, it just left it a bit late. So, like I said, we didn't know who was going to be our starting 11. We didn't know who was going to be going. It just affected us a bit. And I think we backed Parker to get stability once the new ownership came in. And I think we got the new ownership about to spend a bit of money to get the players that we need to try to do the promotion chase.
Yeah. And I mean, talking of form, Craig, one thing that, looks good for us, and that is our form. Bloody Hull. If it wasn't for them pesky Hull teams, would have been all right. No, I'm glad we got it out of the way, to be honest with you, like I've said to you before. But look, 5, well, it's just win after win after win. We're breaking records that we set the previous week now, aren't we? And even when we have tough games, and QPR was a tough game, in fairness, wasn't it?
I think so. I think they expected them to come at us and be more physical and more aggressive. And I think what we've shown over the past couple of weeks is, and we're probably, showing other teams how to play against us, is we struggled a little bit against QPR. We struggled a little bit against Sunderland, who were both probably the most aggressive teams that we've faced this season. So, I think with it being aggressive, probably those 2 yellow cards didn't help us either. With Winks and Dewsbury all being on yellow cards, I think they would have probably been more aggressive in that last game against QPR if they weren't on yellow cards. But I think, at the moment we are. I've just got this sense that we're not playing at the best at the moment. I think we're going to have some ups and downs. Last couple of performances we've played in fits and starts, and I think it's really important that if we do get a period on top, that we get a goal, and we try and build on that. If it's a long drawn out 0-0 for a long time, I think it might get a little bit nervy.
And your form, Carl, I mean, looking at that, I mean, in a normal season, you look at that and go 4 wins out of 6. Brilliant. But it is, I mean, you lost to Southampton, which was one of, your main rivals. They're now just sat below you in the table. You struggled against QPR. You only managed to beat them 1-0. You beat Bristol City. I mean, what a ding-dong with Norwich. You then cost me 3 points in the prediction league when you went and lost to Stoke. God knows what you were doing there. And then you thumped Huddersfield Town. Talk us through those games.
Yeah, the Southampton game, it was surprising. We had a bit of a better start, but Southampton capitalized quite well to get those goals. We were very sloppy on how Southampton counter against us, and that did cost us the game a bit. And I think it was the second. I think Cooper. It just didn't fit. And then we had a tough game against QPR, and then we had a tough game against Bristol City as well, because Bristol City under Pearson at the time was giving us a game, and then getting that win against Norwich was from 2 goals down was unsanctionable, and then losing Stoke after Bamford missed the penalty after coming on. You're just thinking, and then going to play against our rivals who left by half time. I saw the crowd leaving by half time. It just shows that. Yeah, we're always going to have our Jekyll or Hyde, and those 2 games we lost was more of a Jekyll, to be quite honest for you.
I mean, what sort of game do you expect Leeds to play against us tomorrow? So many teams we've seen come to the KP, and it's almost, and we've said this before, it's their cup final of the season. I can't see Leeds coming and parking the bus and not having to go for it, though.
Listen, we will not park the bus. We will not park the bus. Let's just get that one out of the way. To be quite honest with you, I would say we are going to play a bit expansive football. So I wouldn't be surprised. We'll play like you do is good on the front foot. And we will be better defensively than we were before. But like I said, we've been in high-scoring games this season, so it ain't going to be no clean sheets tomorrow night.
No, would you agree with that, Craig? It's going to be a high-scoring game.
I'm not sure it's going to be high-scoring. I think it might be a game with quite a lot of chances. I think both teams have the ability to miss chances. That's for sure. We should have put the game to bed very early on against Sunderland, and we didn't. But I think it's going to be. It's interesting because it sounds like it should be an open game. And Leeds will definitely come for us, but it depends if they want to press high. If they press high and we play through it, then we'll be good. If they press high, then whether it's we drop off a little bit more to try and create some more space. But it doesn't matter what Leeds want to do if they haven't got the ball. So I think our ball retention is going to be key to the game, to be honest. But just playing sensibly as well. I think sometimes. You do have to play in behind a back line. If Leeds want to come for us and press high, then they're going to have to push their back line up high as well, which leaves space in behind for our wingers. So, sometimes it's not a bad tactic to go and play in behind. And we know that we like to knock it around on the floor and build up slowly. But I think if you can draw Leeds in and then switch it, I think that might work for us. But I think it's going to be an openish, but exciting game. The pitch is going to be wet, I would imagine, under the floodlights, noisy visitors. Should be an exciting game.
Yeah. Scott, I think there is using the old wooden spoon. Beating Southampton and Stoke is not for everybody. Scott, respect our guests. Respect our guests. I mean, Craig, stick with you because I've banned Boris out the group, but he used to say it was boring football, and it's not the exciting football of the Premier League winning season. But no team plays like that these days. This is the way that teams play going forward. I'm just a little bit worried that whilst it's worked against other teams, Leeds are probably the ones that worry me the most. In the fact that if we do play it about at the back, like you say, they've got to get the ball. But if they get the ball, I was mostly worried what they could do to us when they've got it.
Definitely. I think we can't be taking liberties. And we saw against Sunderland that they pressed really high, very aggressive, and they forced us to play a lot longer than we had done in any game before that. We were having to switch tactics and adapt to what they were doing. I can imagine it being pretty much the same. The speed that you guys have got up front are going to, exactly as Andrew said there, that they're going to come at us, I would imagine, from the off. Try and press us high, try and worry us into mistakes. And you know that if you start misplacing a few passes early on, it affects the confidence throughout the team. So I would imagine that's going to be Leeds' tactic, and we've just got to be confident enough to play through it. I think this is probably going to be the first game where we've had not the best weather, I would say. So a wet, slippy, if it's raining, pitch is going to really test our first touch when we're trying to zip these passes into each other. So I hope that Maresca is a little bit pragmatic and is prepared to switch his tactics a little bit if needs be.
Carl, 24 goals scored, only 5 less than us this season, and Ipswich, we both scored 29. But along with Ipswich, you've conceded 15. Is your defensive side of the game a problem for you?
Our defensive side has always been a problem. No matter.
We need a man in the corner that can do sign language for you.
I know I need a sound man, okay? I know I need a sound man. But listen, we've not had a stabilized back four. Let's just get that one out of the way. I think because it's a new back four as well with Rondon, Sam Barron coming back as well. We've had Jed Spence, but he's injured at the moment. So there's been a lot of rotation in that back four. It just needs to be stabilized. I think we conceded the same amount of goals when Bielsa came the first few games. When Bielsa came in that first season, those first 7 games, we conceded roughly those same numbers of goals. So we're always going to be pragmatic, but I think Farker will need to switch it up a bit tomorrow night if, for example, we give too many chances to you guys in the first 15 minutes.
And who's going to be the main goal threat for you?
I think it will be Somerville.
Yeah.
I think Somerville's been that main goal scorer. I know Perro has not been the main striker role because he's been playing behind Rutter, but Somerville is our main threat because of his dribbling and his pace. And that's what we really need for that tomorrow night in that slippery pit. It's going to be a wet weather tomorrow night. He's going to have to be patient of taking his chances.
We do know, of course, because it's on Sky, no matter how wet it gets, the game won't be called off.
No.
It could be playing in the middle of Storm Katrina or whatever it's called. Kieran, that's it. Craig, do you know how many different scorers we've had this season?
No, but I've got a feeling you're going to tell me. I'm gonna. I'll have a guess.
Go on. Yes.
Let me guess it. 8.
13 in all.
Let me guess it's 13.
13 in all competitions.
Oh, no, you didn't say all competitions, Chris, did you?
All right.
He's got a point.
3 goals off there then, shall we? I mean, I did a Stoke preview a few weeks ago, and the guy said to me, who's going to be your main threat? I mean, I can't say because, if Callum's not fit in January, we lose the Iheanacho and Vardy gets injured. We don't need a striker, do we? And he doesn't rely on the strikers, Craig.
No, goals have been coming from everywhere, which is good to see. Because if you're relying on one striker and he has a bad patch, then it's tough. I think it keeps players on the toes as well. It'd be nice for us to get our wingers back. It's nice that McAteer's back in the fold. Hopefully Youssef as well. So we can put a little bit of pressure on those 2 wingers who have had it their own way for the last 2 or 3 games, without any pressure on Mavididi and Tawu. But there's goals all over the place, which makes it difficult for the opposition, which is great.
Yeah. What did they say about our injuries? 'Cause I haven't seen the press conference, to be honest with you.
I think they were hoping that most will be back. Even Cannon has been out on the training pitch this week. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw him on the bench. To be honest, that would be a kick in the teeth to Daka, obviously. Who I mean, when he came on the other night against Sunderland at home, he showed that he's still got his pace. He's still got his desire. I would like him to get a few more minutes on the board, I think, but. If Cannon's fit, it's going to be interesting to see how Maresca plays that one.
Is there some other position that we can play Daka in? I mean, not that we're short of wingers now, but obviously Musa ended up on the wing a lot. Is that something that we could utilise Daka for?
I mean, when he did bring him on, he brought him on the wing.
Yeah.
But it was mainly to just try and close down fullbacks and stop them breaking up the pitch because it was fairly late in the game. To be honest, I'm not sure. He's an instinctive striker. So for me, instinctive strikers need to be playing through the middle and spend most of the time in the box. And we saw it even going back to the friendly game away at Northampton when he was played out on the left wing. When he's got thinking time, he struggles a little bit and he's not really decisive. Wingers are... the good wingers are decisive. They know what they're going to do. They've got a thought in their mind. They're either going to beat a man or they're going to cut inside and try and whip a cross in. And it doesn't come naturally to Daka. So you could play him out there, but I think you'd be weakening the team a little bit.
Injury problems at all at Leeds, Cole? No, it's gone completely. I think we've lost you completely, Cole. I'm going to guess Titanic. Craig, I don't know about you. Carl, I tell you what, Carl, I don't know. We've lost you to 100% now, I'm afraid. Hang on. You've muted.
Sorry, I muted myself. I apologize. That was the issue. I'm so sorry. I forgot it was so mute.
Answer me though. More importantly, was it Titanic?
No, it wasn't Titanic. It wasn't Titanic. Sorry. No, Gelda is out for 2 weeks. He fractured his hand. We're still missing Stuart Dallas. He's not been back in the squad for nearly 2 seasons. And who else? Firpo, he's on his way back. But Somerville, Byron, and Rondon are going to be fit for tomorrow. So that's the injury news we've got for the team news early today.
Yeah. Daka's problem is he tries too hard, Craig. And
I think that I mean, it's a fair point though, because when you know that every time you're on the pitch, you are, and I know every player is being judged, but it seems more so with Daka, because he knows his chances are going to be few and far between. There is that added pressure of if he gets 10, 15 minutes here, he's got to try and do enough to try and put himself in the manager's thoughts. So it does come with a little bit of added pressure, I think.
It does. Right. End of the season, Cole. Where do you see Leeds season ending?
Listen, we have to finish second. It's now or never. We have to finish second. Our playoff record is woeful. We've got to the final. We lost to Doncaster in the League One playoffs. It's woeful. It's second place for us now. That's what we need to do. We need to capitalize. If Ipswich do fall at some point, we have to capitalize on that to get that second place.
Are you surprised at Ipswich, and do you think they will fall, Carl?
I am surprised, but not surprised at this early start of the season. I'm not
the fence, why don't you? Are surprised, but you're not surprised.
No, I was Kieran McKenna is a good manager. He's got that pedigree at Manchester United. I'm not going to disagree with that one. And they've really got good players as well. It's just, can they be fit enough in that mid-season? That's going to be the breaking point where if they're going to be good enough to finish second or not.
Craig, I mean, at the start of the season, I said this season I would have been happy with 7th or 8th if it meant that we went up the next season strong and did really well, like, you know, the last time we won the championship. So we're doing that anyway this season. And I've got to say, and please, I'm not being condescending to any other team in the championship. You know, I respect every other team. It's a difficult league to get out of. But if we don't finish in that top 2, Craig, you could almost say it's a disaster, couldn't you?
I think disaster is a strong word, but you know, you were talking about the Titanic a minute ago, so I can see where your thinking is. Yeah, it would be bitterly disappointing. I think if we slip out into the playoffs, you know, anything worse than the playoffs, then yeah, something's gone seriously wrong, I think. But yeah, it would be very, very disappointing, I think. And you know, we are a quarter of the way through. We know that it's a long, hard season. We know that in the championship, and the deeper you go, the more pressure that comes with each game. You know, we are there to be shot at. You know, that brings its own pressure as well. But yeah, it would be very disappointing. Disastrous, is a little bit much.
Carl, I mean, Craig said we're there to be shot at. Do you think Leeds and Southampton, to a degree, are kind of going under the radar a little bit because we've had such a good start? We are, and again, this is no disrespect to Leeds or Southampton. Of the 3 teams that came down, are probably at the moment the biggest because we have only in the last 10 years won the Premier League. We have within the last 10 years, you know, won the FA Cup. So we're the one I think that everybody wants to go. Is that helping Leeds, do you think?
It's helping more Leeds than Southampton. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Southampton, I don't know under Russell Martin if it's the right fit. You know, I don't know. It's a big job for him. You know, Farker could have done well at Southampton if he had a chance to go there. But here's the thing. I think Farker can manage a big couple at Leeds. It was a huge test for him, especially. I think Southampton was always going to go on the radar because of what happened to them last season when they bought youngsters, and they're still doing that now and again. They've had to sell players, but if you look at the difference, I think Leeds have got a bit more pedigree at the moment of being more under the radar than Southampton. I didn't think Southampton was going to finish in the top 2. I expected both ourselves, you know, but I think it was going to be more you guys. Because you have more of the experienced guys who can get out of you guys there. So I think that's the difference with that one. I think we can get out of it second place. I think Southampton will struggle a bit because of the youngsters they still got.
Yeah. Scott is asking you there, Craig, do you see Ipswich potentially doing a Leicester of the 15-16 season? I've got to be honest with you. I'm impressed with Ipswich. I didn't think they'd do this well. I did think that they would consolidate this season. They've got an excellent manager, as I've said before, was one of the 2 that I wanted before I knew we were getting Enzo. You've said it's a long season. Do you think that will work against them? Do you think once we get into the injuries and the winter months and Christmas, do you think that they're going to falter?
I'm not sure, to be honest. The best thing they've got is that manager, clearly, because he's got them playing under a structure. I still don't think many other Leicester fans know many Ipswich players. You know, they're still a little bit under the radar of who they are. But I think they're going to have a little bit of a sticky patch. It's funny because I've got them to draw the next 2 games, and on paper you would think that they would win them both. I think it's Birmingham and Rotherham. But I think that when they come up against teams who are now giving them a little bit more respect than they probably gave Ipswich early on, I think they might find it a little bit trickier. I think they were lucky to get the win last week. They had one off the line. Somehow the ball just seemed to sort of trickle along the line, and somebody managed to clear it out for the winner, for them to lose a goal there. And I just think I think they'll still be there. I think they'll definitely be top 6 all the way. I just think there's going to be a few more ups and downs with Ipswich than there may be with the likes of Leicester and Leeds.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a look at score predictions in a second. I've made a note that you've got Ipswich down to draw the next 2, so I can go against you on that choice. And having insulted one of our sponsors here, I think we'd better give them a shout out.
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Indeed.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Hopefully you've got your predictions in, Craig, because the prediction show is coming up at 9 o'clock. Obviously, normally it's tomorrow at 9, but we're playing, so I think 1 or 2 people might be more interested in the game than watching the prediction show. Let's come to you first with this then, Craig, while it gives me a time to think.
I can't even remember what I put, to be honest, for the prediction. I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester.
You're going to go 2-1 Leicester. Okay. High-scoring game, you said earlier, Carl.
I kind of did. You know what old Leeds I like. So we will like to make a comeback. I'm going to say 3-2 to Leeds.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to Leicester then. I'm going to say, I'll take
Hell no, Chris. You know me too well. I'm Leeds through till I die, all right?
Every time I think we're going to struggle and we come up against a team that I've got us down for a draw, we still go on and win. So I can't go against my team at the moment. I mean, this is going to be a tough game. On paper, it should be the toughest game, but last team we played in third place was Preston. It will be a tight game, though. I can't agree with you, Craig, whether that was the score I was going for, but I can't agree with you. So I'm going to go a very tight 1-0 to Leicester.
Oof.
So, okay. I know. Biting your fingernails game. Yeah. Let's see what people have gone for in the chat. Ronald McDonald, he's gone 3-1 to City. Scott thinks it will be a high game as well. He's gone 4-3 to Leicester. So, and as Ronald says, they haven't played us yet. Tonight, following this show, we have got the prediction show. Don't touch that dial, as they used to say 40 odd years ago. We always do this, bit of fun. Foot in both camps. There's quite a few, but I want to stick with this guy first. One of Craig's heroes from the past. Craig, first of all, talk to me about Jermaine Beckford. If you can keep it clean, that would be preferable.
No, I would say Jermaine Beckford is and was didn't make the most of his talent. Let's put it that way. I think he was clearly a talented player, but I'm not sure he had the desire or the application to really push himself to the top. You know, he had quite a few games where he sort of strolled through it if he didn't really fancy it. But clearly had talent, and I think he's turned into a decent pundit. To be honest, I quite like him when he's on. So I think he's probably. I wonder if players like Beckford have some regrets that they didn't really make the most of their opportunities when they had it. But he scored a few important goals for us down here, but not prolific, shall we say?
Did he not get a hat? Was it Jermaine Beckford that got the hat trick against Forest, or am I making that up?
It might have been, Chris. To be honest, I wouldn't bet against you and your vast knowledge. Obviously,
you could bet against my brain that tends to take one game.
Well, when we because we're going to be doing the look at a past game. I always think it's a little bit more fun if I have a quiz question that goes along with that. So we'll test your knowledge in a bit.
Oh, too brute! You're going to stick the knife in. Also, don't I remember that Jermaine Beckford didn't like running back when we lost the ball? That's the Jermaine Beckford I remember. Again, or am I getting mixed up with somebody else?
I think we've had a few strikers like that, haven't we?
Yes.
We've had a few who haven't really liked working hard going back the other way. I'm not sure if you get away with that in the modern game.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, Beckford, talking of being a pundit, is a pundit for Sky Sports tomorrow. And also does a podcast for Leeds United, Luke.
Yep, he does. You know what? Look, I agree what Craig said. In his career, it could have been something, but he couldn't do it. Here's the two things with Beckford. I think will be a Leeds legend for two reasons. We're not Manchester United at the FA Cup when he scored the only goal in 2009-10 season. And he scored the winner against Bristol Rovers to get us promoted back to the Championship. Those are the two things we'll remember him did. He could be more prolific when he did leave. He did have a good career at Everton. With you guys, it was mixed in a way. Could have been more prolific. But like you said, you can't hate the guy. He's very likable, and that's big. And I think in him he's become a really good pundit, and it just shows you that he still wants to be part of something that he wants to fix by being a better pundit than him. He could have been a good player. So give him credit for what he's trying to do, because he could have been prolific in his late career, but he couldn't. He just didn't have the drive anymore like he used to do.
Pundits for me, Craig, they're always better when they don't come from one of the so-called big six.
Yeah, definitely. I think you get more realism when you the pundits that are around the Championship. From what I've seen so far, you do get in the Premier League. It's all about ego. There's a lot of ego around, isn't there? We know it.
Yes.
But some of them I don't mind. Usually, most of the guys they pull out on Match of the Day, I don't mind too much. The Sky guys, just get on my nerves a little bit, and let's not get on Jamie Redknapp.
No.
No.
Or for that matter, Jamie Carragher.
I mean, most of them.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of most of them, but I do think the ones that you get in the Championship, from what I've seen so far, are a little bit more grounded, and I think they talk a little bit more sense.
Yes, which is always good. I think we should all actually just. I know Remembrance Sunday is coming up in a couple of weeks, but I think we should have a minute silence tonight for the demise of a once reasonably good club that were in the Premier League, and say R.I.P. Bristol City, because it looks apparently like taking Frank Lampard on, and if they are, surely that's going to be the end of Bristol City, isn't it, Carl?
The thing is, I don't get how Pearson was not backed.
Yeah.
Enough, especially the money they got from Alex Scott moved to. I know they had some financial issues because they spent a lot in the previous seasons, but it's some more chances, man. And Fat Frank is not a good manager. Some really good players don't become good managers. Let's just get that one out of the way. And I think for Frank, he's not a good manager. He's not. I don't think he should be anywhere near that Bristol City job. I think Bristol City need to look for someone who can actually get this club out of the Championship and somehow get to the Premier League in 5 years' time. I don't think Frank's the right man for it.
Would you agree, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, you do wonder how many chances some of these guys get. Other managers seem to get one chance, and if they don't take it, then they, they're cast aside. To be honest, but certain ones like Frank, to be fair, he's clearly built a decent reputation because people keep wanting to give him a chance. He must interview really, really well.
Yes. I mean, you get rid of a manager like Pearson. All right, we're a little bit biased here at Leicester, of course we are. But you get rid of a manager like Pearson, who's got experience of getting teams promoted and keeping them up in divisions. And then you bring on Frank, who's got experience of absolutely nothing. He kept the fact that he kept Everton up wasn't by the skin of the teeth. Wasn't the fact that he was a good manager. But I've got to say, Paul S. Look at that, I got it right. Betford scored 3 goals against Forest in the FA Cup replay at the King's
automatic
Power.
legend then. Yeah.
Yes. Well, on that alone, we love you. We love you, Jermaine. Just for that. Normally we have the foot in both camps. I was messing around on my computer earlier, and then the postman came, so I had to come off Pornhub, and I went on to the Leeds United website, which was probably just as bad, to be honest with you. Sorry, Cole.
No, I 100% agree with that one, actually, so don't worry about that.
But they've got I have credited them with this. They have put in a full 11-a-side team out that has played, where players have played for both sides. Now, I'd imagine we're going to see Craig put his glasses on here. Yes,
yep.
Hey, I've got no glasses as well. I brought my glasses, and I've also got to go for another eye procedure, so I'm going to be more squinted.
Well, let me go through it for you. That would only be fair, wouldn't it?
That would be fair.
Yeah, in goal, Kasper Schmeichel. Probably one of the better players. Mm-hmm. Regret letting him go, Cole?
Kind of did, yeah. I thought he was the right keeper at the time that we needed, but it was regret to let him go. Listen, we was under Ken Bates at the time, and we didn't know who Bates was certain players to make a quick buck and replace with really poor players. Because I think we had Neil Warnock late that season as manager, so Warnock was bringing his own guys in. So but Schmeichel's had a decent career at Leicester. Winning the league and the FA Cup. You can't deny that. He's probably your best goalkeeper in 3 goalkeepers in Leicester history.
Well, he's up there with Banks and Schultz, isn't he? But definitely
he is. Yeah.
Craig, now I'm confused on this one. Number 2, Bell. Unfortunately, it doesn't ring any with me. Do you know who that might be?
No, absolutely no idea.
Carl, help us out. Have you any idea?
That's a name I've heard, but it's been a long time with that squad. No, I was saying no idea.
Right, well,
I've heard of the name Bell, but I just can't think of when did he play for us? What season?
No, as long as he wasn't centre back with somebody called End, we'll be all right, won't we?
Yeah.
We got Whitlow in, remember them then, don't we? He's
Whitlow.
Oh God, remember Kisnorbo? I used to quite like Kisnorbo.
He's decent for us, Kisnorbo was.
He was, but for both our clubs, he was very decent. And he had to put a foot wrong, actually. He really did. He's a really good, decent player for both our clubs.
Yeah.
Talk to me about McAllister, Craig.
Well, I mean, just class, wasn't he? We bought him on a double. It was a double transfer, wasn't it? McAllister and Ali Mocklin.
Yeah,
I think it was Motherwell. I think. But yeah, I mean, he was just a great player. One of those classy players, just stood upright, could see the game, could ping a pass, could score a goal. He had it all. He had a little nasty side to him as well, but great player for us, great player for you guys as well.
Yep, 100% agree with that one. McAllister, he could have put a foot wrong. He knew where to pass the ball, and he knew how to score as well, actually.
Yeah. It was at Liverpool as well, wasn't he, for a while. I very underrated player, I think, when he was at Leicester. Apparently, it was Willie Bell. Now, I'm surprised you don't remember him here, Cole, because he moved from Queen's Park to Leeds in 1960. So surely you must remember.
Hey, I was not born then. Neither was my dad. So I would have had to ask him. He wouldn't have known.
And it was once called one of the bravest men by Norman Hunter. Played 260 games for Leeds and left for Leicester, where he played 49 times for the Foxes in 2 seasons. So there we go. That was Bell. McAllister. Jones, was that Matt Jones?
Yeah, he was injured a lot for us, I think. He looked like a player who had potential, but I think injuries ruined it for him at Leicester.
He actually he did a thing on the LeicesterTillIDie.com website where we did favourite things, and we contacted ex-players and asked them for like the favourite goal, favourite pre-match routine. There's 5 things that we asked. It was really, really nice and very accommodating. And I must admit, when we signed him, I thought he was going to be a decent player for us. And like you say, it wasn't that he wasn't; it was his injuries. Yeah. Do you remember him at all at Leeds, Carl?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like you said, these players that we like to play in both clubs, it could have been potential, but the injuries just happened in career.
Yes, yeah. Now, one of my favourite Leicester players of all time here. I don't know if you can guess who I'm going to go for, Craig.
I'm guessing that you've jumped past Gradle and Beckford because we talked about him. And you're going to go for Alan Clark.
No. Rewind. I'm going to go Max Gradle. I thought he was a really good player. And again, when he left, and I think he left for personal reasons, didn't he?
Yeah, he was. I don't think we ever saw the best of him, to be honest, because he was here for quite a while, and it seemed to take quite a while for him to make a breakthrough. It's probably like so many other wingers in the game that they can be great for a couple of months and then they just disappear for a bit. And I know he went to, I think he went to Saint Etienne for quite a while playing over in France.
Yes. Yeah. But he went on loan to Leeds, and then Leeds signed him permanently, Carl. I was really disappointed to see him go. Were you pleased to see him arrive?
Quite honest with you, I agree. I think we thought he could be for quite a bit of the games, and I think him, for personal reasons. I know he had personal issues going on at the time. For him to go back to France was probably better for him because I think he was trying to rediscover his form, what he could have been pre-Leeds and Leicester. So I think for that, Gradle's one of those players that he would get in my 11. He would be in my all-time 11, to be quite honest with you.
Now, I can't ask you about Alan Clark because you're a baby, Carl. But for us older...
You can actually, because I've watched all the clips, some of the Leeds clips from the mid-1960s and 1975 when he was in that team. That great team.
It was it was the Leeds team then. And you've got to say, love them or hate them. And in fairness, most people did hate Leeds at that time.
Yeah.
They were an excellent team, whether they played it fairly or not. If, at the end of the season, you look at what you've won, and that Leeds team won a hell of a lot, didn't it?
It was, and especially Clark was the winner of the 1972 FA Cup final, which was the centenary that I think Arsenal could have won that game, quite honestly, but for him to head of that chance, really good, because we were down to 10 men because it was Alan Clark was not injured. It was one of the other players got injured, but there was no substitutions at the time. So he had to defend to keep that scoreline to win the game for Leeds to win our first FA Cup. It was Mick Jones who got injured. That was it. It was Mick Jones got injured. He had to come off. So Clark had to play a bit more defensively towards the end of the game.
Well, I do remember that.
Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, I remember that. It was one of those early FA Cup finals. I do remember. Alan Clark's diving header. Mick Jones dislocating his shoulder, I think. Remember being walked around the pitch with his arms. Obviously, not as much fun as the next year against Sunderland, but, hey-ho.
Oh, I love that. Builds you up.
I knew you'd have a little digging with that one. I knew it would come in.
151 goals in 366 appearances for Leeds. He won the First Division FA Cup, Charity Shield, and Intercity Fairs Club Cup. There's going back a bit, Craig. Didn't win quite as much when he was at Leicester.
No, I don't remember him playing for Leicester at all, to be honest. I've got no memories of him in a blue shirt other than photographs I've seen.
I think he played in the 69 Cup final, didn't he? I think.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me right. But I think, and even he would say, I think, Leeds was his club.
Yeah.
But just a few quick hellos before we move on. Frank Lampard is overrated. Yes. Alan Clark and his brother Wayne. Daddy's in. Daddy Doug's in. Good evening, Doug. Hope you, Rebecca, and Nathan are all well. Paul Lee should have given Brian Clough more time.
No chance. No chance. The way he was talking about our club in the past, no chance in hell.
It's still I don't care. It's still one of the best films to watch. If you haven't seen the damn United,
not for Leeds fans, it's not. Not for Leeds fans, it's not.
It is for everybody else.
Oh yeah, I know.
I think we've hit a nerve here, Craig. I mean, do you like the film, Craig?
You know what? I've never seen it.
Have you not?
I know. I'm ashamed as the words are coming out of my mouth. And what makes it even worse is I know I've got the DVD. Younger kids watch it. Ask your parents what DVDs were.
Me too.
But yeah,
me too.
Yeah, but I've got it. I've got no excuse. And by the time we play you in the reverse fixture, I'll have watched it.
It is I have got it on DVD as well. Those of us of a certain age, I think he's really got it on VHS, children. You've really got to ask your grandparents about that. Could be worse. Could be he's got it on Betamax, but we won't go there. But yeah, it is a really, really good film. Do you not think, though, Carl, just very quickly on that it shows, again, player power.
Yeah,
some things haven't changed in football.
Yeah. Leeds had a lot of player power in those days, and so like I said, it was more after post Revy, we had more player power, and the thing is, he lasted 44 days when he says, "Chuck all your medals that you've won in the past because you were disgraceful." That just peed off a lot of the players, especially with Bremer.
I do understand that bit. In fairness, I will give you that point.
Yeah, just remember, Johnny Giles sued David Pearce for the libel, and he won that case when the book came out. So
wow. But let's forget Brian Clough at Leeds United, and let's look on happier things. And that's our match review, which, like I say, I wouldn't have chosen, to be honest with you, because I think it's very ungracious when you get a guest in to pick a match where they lose. But it wasn't me, Carl. So I apologise on behalf of my co-host here.
Hey, you did, but you proved it. You proved it. So you didn't need to prove it.
I didn't have time to choose another one. That was
you could have had time. You could have thought maybe not. No.
It's like me here. GB News. Us producers don't have anything to do with what goes on in the show.
Yeah, don't go there with the GB News to me. That ain't gonna work with me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could have gone with the one with the Lillian Nallis goal from 40 yards out. To be fair.
That was the one I was hoping you were going to go for, Craig.
Yeah. Was that 4-0? I think.
Yes,
like
I watched that. I watched that one. Just to sidetrack briefly, I watched that one at a Leeds fan's house with my son. Oh, what joyous evening that was! And that was the time, when they used to have the Sky Fan Zone. Yeah. And the Leeds fan had 4-0 printed on the back of his T-shirt to Leeds, and but you didn't go for that game, which was a couple of dick-off goals.
No, because this was a more memorable. So that goal is still shown pre-match. At Leicester's home games, there's a montage of goals running down the seasons, and that goal is shown. I remember it. I was on that side of the ground, quite low down with my lad, and it was a very tense game. Both teams were battling around at the top. 90th minute, a really tight game, but 90th minute to come up with that towering header. I can't remember it was. What I remember is you had a guy on the line who back in the days, when teams used to put a man on each post. I don't know why that stopped, but there you go. But there was a guy on the post, and he couldn't. It was so far perfectly in the corner that the guy jumped and he couldn't get it anyway. But a big game, and obviously on the back of that, we went up. Winning that game was important because what it meant was that if we went, our next game was away at Southend, and if we won that, we would clinch promotion back to the Championship at the first attempt. And we went on to win 2-0 in that game, so we were up. And then sadly, you guys went into the playoffs, and I mean, Leeds finished 5th in the end.
We did. Do you know what? That was that game would have been the must-win game because usually to the last stages we kind of struggle, and I thought to myself, we'll just win against Leicester. We still have a chance of getting promotion. We really did. We thought we did, and we just when you lot scored that win, I thought, we're definitely in the playoffs. And I thought to myself, if we're gonna get Millwall, it was gonna be too much for us. And I think Millwall, we had a chance to win that game, but Millwall scored the equaliser and the one away goals, and we got promoted the season after. And and
do you remember?
That was a kill that we missed. I had the very good.
Do you remember who finished second behind us?
No, I was thinking. It's one of those teams that's been up and down, and I can't remember. I know which team I don't know if it was Norwich at the time, because Norwich was a good team. I think Norwich was the same season with us, where we got promoted.
Chris thinks he knows. This isn't your question, by the way, Chris.
Oh, is it not? No. Well, I'm just going to have a guess, and I don't know why, but this was the team that just came into my mind, Tranmere Rovers.
Excellent guess. Wrong.
Wrong.
Excellent guess.
Oh, yes, yeah.
The team that won the playoffs and came up was Scunthorpe.
Yeah.
Wow.
The team that finished second was Peterborough.
Of course.
Peterborough, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They had Craig Mikhail Smith, I think, at the time, who was scoring a lot of goals. Interestingly enough, the team that finished 16th in League One that season, Brighton and Hove Albion.
Wow.
That
was probably when they were playing at the athletics field, wasn't it?
Yeah, they still were, yeah.
So Chris,
I've got to just say, in fairness to Brighton, I love Brighton as a team, and I think where they've been, and we've all been in bad positions. Leeds, you've been in the shit. We've been in the shit a few times. We're both our clubs going out of business, but Brighton. I mean, can you imagine having, where they had to play, and the fans still went week in, week out, and they kept going. Did they actually? I'm not sure whether they dropped out the Football League at one point or not.
No, I don't think so. I think they were close to it, but no.
But to be in that position, I mean, all right, you could argue that that's how West Ham play at the moment in a pitch with a running track round it. But it was awful, and fair play to where they are now. That's a footballing story. So I do have a soft spot for Brighton, I must admit. But I have a feeling my question is coming up now.
Well, I've got two questions here. One's a sort of Leeds-based question, so I might throw that at Carl, and then keep the really juicy one for you, Chris. So, Carl, you should get this. So let's see if Chris can answer it first.
All right.
So, during that season, you sacked one ex-Leicester player and replaced him with another ex-Leicester player.
Oh, God. Right. Yeah. Oh.
Chris?
Do you want them both?
Well, one would be a start, wouldn't it?
Well, one would be a start. One I think I know, which probably means I'm wrong. I'm going to go for Simon Grayson.
Yeah.
He was the one who came in.
Yeah, he was the one that came in.
Was it? I'm going to say Dennis Wise was the one that or Gary McAllister. It's one of those two.
Who do you want to plug for, Chris?
Me?
Yeah, it is one of those two.
Is it? Oh, no, I was thinking somebody else then.
No.
Now, you see, Wise had been to Millwall, hadn't he?
Yeah.
But was that before or after? Who was the other one you said?
So Simon Grayson came in.
Yes.
So it was Wise or McAllister.
Wise or McAllister? I'm going to go McAllister, I think it was.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
McAllister was sacked. And,
Thank you. I wouldn't have got McAllister. I wouldn't have got McAllister without Cole saying it, in fairness. So.
Anyway, your question, Chris.
I'll get this one wrong now.
Carl, you'll have no chance on this, so don't worry. And
I will. That's fine. I'm just going to sit here and watch and see how it happens.
Watch a man suffer. Thank you.
The good news is I wouldn't have got this question right either. So
I have to say, I have got it full screen here, so I can't see any of the comments, so I'm not getting any help at all.
We talk about, this season of having a number one goalkeeper and maybe a strong number two. This season, Leicester used 5 goalkeepers in the season. Chris, can you name any 2?
How many goalkeepers? You need so many goalkeepers there. What the hell?
We had 5. We signed 4.
Some things don't change, do they? Okay, Kevin Pressman.
Excellent. That's not one of the 5.
It's not. Oh,
no.
Right, give me a chance. Cole Paul.
No.
No. Oh God, I can see him. I think
only one of the 5 was with the club the previous season. We brought 4 of them in on loan.
4 of them in on loan.
Yeah, at different points in the season.
Who was the director of football for your company?
I think it's before they existed.
Dennis Wise, I think.
I think this season of 5 goalkeepers was the reason that directors of football were brought in.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh shit! Right. Well. It was. No, it was too soon for Casper, wasn't it? It wasn't Casper yet.
It was too soon for that.
So it's pre-Casper. I thought Pressman. Not Kevin Paul. He'd gone by then. Oh. Do you know what? I can't.
No, it's tough. That's why it's enjoyable.
My turn next week.
Yeah. Hey, you brought this old game in. We've just got to have a bit of fun with it, Chris, haven't we?
Yeah,
so,
we have.
The 5 goalkeepers. Paul Henderson.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Australian.
He never even play for us.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he played the first 6 games, I think. I think the keeper who played the most games that season was David Martin. Do you remember who finally made Alvin Martin's son, who finally made his debut for West Ham a couple of seasons ago and got a clean sheet? He'd been around at West Ham for so long, but he played the most games for us in goal that season.
I don't even remember him.
Oh, you wait. You wait till you hear the other 3.
Oh, God.
We had Mark Bunn.
Who?
Mark Bunn.
Not Gun. Bunn.
Bunn. No, Mark Bunn. Tony Warner.
Oh, come on.
And the guy who actually played in the game against Leeds, David Stockdale.
What?
5 goalkeepers we had in that season.
Right, just name those again.
So Paul Henderson.
Now, Henderson I had heard of, yes.
Yeah, Aussie keeper. David Martin. Mark Bunn. Tony Warner and David Stockdale. David Stockdale was around for quite a while.
That name does ring a bell. I would never have got it in a month of Sundays. Paul Henderson, obviously, once you said it, but I would never have. He was quite a tall lad, wasn't he? I think Stockdale, he was quite stocky, if I remember. Boom, boom. No, wow. That's one of those quiz questions, isn't it? Thank you. Right, this is war now. You realise that, don't you? This is totally war. They're still going on about damned United. But sorry, Luke. Luke, what am I saying? Sorry, Carl.
You call me Luke. That's the second time you called me Luke tonight.
Well, every time I go to call you something, you black out and you go quiet, and I can't remember what your name is.
Okay. That ain't there, right? You got jokes tonight, you.
I'll come back to this one now. Lee should have given Brian Clough more time. Let's bring that
Get
up.
lost. Paul, no, I wouldn't give him more time. He's making that team worse, so don't even try.
Look, thank you very much, guys. Well, not thank you for that quiz. That was. I'm not too embarrassed at getting 0. I got the first one. I think 1.5 out of 2 because that I can't claim 2 because I was given a choice of answers, multiple choice. That second one, there's no embarrassment for me not getting any of them. Yeah. I don't think many people would have done. I don't think even Nigel Pearson would remember those. But Carl, thank you very much for coming on. It's been nice to speak to you for the few times that we managed to get a conversation going.
I know. Listen, I've just got a new PC. I told this, so I did get rid of my laptop, right? And I found out I was going to get some money back. Turns out I'm not getting any money back because they found a cracked something in part in my laptop, which I didn't know about for years. So I've just bought a new PC about 2 weeks ago. So I'm just getting used to everything, doing this in a different way with a big ultra wide screen and vice versa. Yeah, no, I'm making excuses. That's
Daniel
fine.
Parker, he's just signed some new players in the summer. He's still getting used to them.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, I will always make excuses for you, Chris. You know I love you too much. I always make excuses for you.
Love you too, mate. Look, just to give everybody a reminder, links are in the description below, but where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at the Totally Levy and Home Football Podcast. I am on this Saturday with Andrew Roy.
And just very, very quickly before you go,
we're about 11:15 on it.
Right. Sorry, I thought you were breaking up, and I thought you'd stopped. I do apologise. I have to say that I did a thing that I said earlier, didn't I? My favourite things, and I actually had Steve Howard on there as well. Now. The first question that I asked him was your favourite match. We also asked him his favourite teammate, superstition, and memory. I did ask him his favourite goal. Now, Craig, a question back for you, and I'm going to make it so easy for you here. But what do you think was Steve Howard's very, very favourite, number one, hallelujah, his best ever goal that he scored for Leicester? Which do you think it was?
Was it the winning goal against Leeds?
You see, you don't even need to say it to me.
Well done. I'm just looking at it now thinking, hang on, Steve Howard answered these questions for me. Always, this is what his actual words were. So I'm enjoying this moment. My favourite goal. He says, and this is quote Steve Howard, always enjoyed scoring against Leeds and did throughout my career. So the 90th minute header to get us promotion from League One. But in fairness to him, he did say he was absolutely knackered and he does not remember to this day how he got up into the box, but he just found himself there, scored. He said, and he suddenly got another burst of adrenaline then, but it was absolutely knackered at the time. But well done. 3 points to you there, Craig.
Thanks.
Oh, I'd never have guessed that, but yes.
Oh, come on. It was always going to be the guess. Why do you think I was scratching my head thinking he's going to say what he's going to say because it's right in front of me?
Oh, can't resist it. Look, mate, I know a lot of people don't like Leeds. What I love about Leeds United is the fans in general. When you got promoted back up to the Premier League, there was none of this like we're back where we belong, Nottingham Forest shit. It was always a case of we're just glad to be back here, and that's what I loved about Leeds. There was no gloating or anything like that. So it's going to be nice to play you again. Like I said, it's going to be like meeting up with an old school buddy from the last school and having you round for tea.
I know.
And watching Simpsons afterwards. But I still hope you lose.
Hey, listen, we'll put Fraser aside for the next 90 minutes tomorrow night, okay? So
we will indeed. And if you get your microphone fixed, we'll have you back on for the reverse fixture.
Well, I'm hopeful it will do. Don't worry. I'm this is the last. This will be the one more upgrade that I'll need. Okay, along with a boom arm, will make a difference.
If you say so. All the best, Carl, except for tomorrow. Take care, buddy. Speak to you soon.
Take care. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot. Oh, so you did it better than me. What was he called, that guy? You know the one I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one. That's
Norman Collier. Yeah.
That's it. Norman Collier. He used to be on the good old days. My God, do you remember that? Do you remember the good old days?
I do, mate. I do. I remember. Weren't you in the audience once?
Yeah, I was, and I still got those clothes. But that was my moment on the telly. Of course, you must be struggling without the limelight that you used to get ringing that bell in the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club.
I do indeed. Yeah. Great days.
Another time, wasn't it? Different times.
Colin Crompton, that one was.
Yeah, yes, it was. And who was the host? Do you remember?
Well, Colin Crompton and a good old Mr. Politically Correct himself, Bernard Manning.
Can you imagine Bernard Manning today?
Yeah.
On the telly? It doesn't bear thinking about. Are you going tomorrow, sir?
I'll be there. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, I think, and a nervy one.
And nervy, yeah. I'm just looking up at my clock here, and apparently it's 6:45 on my big clock, but I think I've got batteries going everywhere on me today. That was my problem with my keyboard earlier. My batteries have gone. But look, fingers crossed for tomorrow. I think we're going to do it. I really do. But if we don't, then it's Leeds who are in third, and we're still going to be top anyway, aren't we? So
exactly.
Win-win. Yeah. Win-win, chicken dinner, whatever they say. All the best, mate. Thanks very much for coming on. I'm going to go off now and try and think of a really difficult question for you next week.
You do
that. Have a good weekend. Take care, buddy.
Cheers, mate. See you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So thanks to Craig for coming on. Really appreciate his time, and I shall get him back for that question. He's not going to get away with it, believe you me. And we're going to be here tomorrow night from 7:15. When we'll be doing the watch along, and I will be joined obviously by our friend who's big down under. No, that's not Brad. That's Luke from Perth in Australia, and Brad, of course, himself will be joining us tomorrow. And Brad will be joining us in half an hour when we will be doing the Prediction League. We look forward. Please don't go. It's only 30 minutes away. Hang around. Don't touch that dial, as they say. But look, if you've been watching, thank you very much. If you've been in the chat, thanks so very much. Thanks to Craig and Luke for joining us. And thanks to everybody who has been listening on the old podcast. This has been LTID TV. I've been Chris. This is Arnie. See you in half an hour.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.